to public comments on agenda items. Do we have any public comments this evening? Okay, there being no public comments, we will move on to recognitions.
Good evening, welcome. This evening on behalf of the Board of Education, we are recognizing a student first for our Above and Beyond Award. To help me with the recognition is Mrs. Morley. Can I invite you up to do the introduction?
I actually have two teachers here that would like to share a quick word about our student, Carlos, that we're recognizing tonight. Melanie is not in attendance, so if you two could come on up.
Good evening. Carlos is a hardworking student who consistently strives to excel in all of his schoolwork. He always participates in class and is always ready to learn something new. Because Carlos is so kind and helpful, he empowers those around him by offering support whenever it is needed. He isn't afraid to take initiative or take learning risks, and it's his willingness to embrace every challenge that makes him such a great student.
I also wrote a paragraph for Carlos, and you'll recognize a lot of the same phrases because we both have very high opinions of Carlos. So I'll read my paragraph. Carlos Aranda is a remarkable student. You can see Carlos's positivity and the way he treats both his fellow students and his teachers. For example, he is always willing to lend a helping hand to anyone around him. Also, he speaks up and says the positive things he sees happening around him. Carlos is hardworking and intelligent as well. He completes all his classwork and it is always well done. Carlos is a bright young man with a positive future ahead of him.
We recognize Carlos at the IPA breakfast, and we'd like him to come up now and get his certificate from our Board of Education.
So nice to recognize a student from Diamond Lake School. Next is our Diamond Award on behalf of the Board of Education. We are excited to recognize a staff member. I'd like to call Miss Collette up from the West Oak Intermediate School so that we can recognize a staff member from our intermediate school.
So tonight's Diamond Award recipient is an extra special one. Miss Uzardi was nominated not by one student, not by two students, but by 5 students. And who can celebrate her better than her very own students? So I'm going to call up Adelie, Addison, Charlize, Mia, and Devin. Come on up, girls.
This teacher has been kind, patient, cooperative, respectful, and overall amazing.
Whether she is working with a student who needs a little extra attention or a person who is experiencing big feelings, she is always there to help.
This teacher always finds a way to hear both sides of the story if there's an issue between students.
We feel that we have learned more in this class than we could have in any other.
She doesn't treat her students like kids. She treats us like adults. No matter the problem, if she is having a bad day or not, she'll put that aside to help us. Thank you, Miss Uzardi.
Miss Uzardi, please come up and be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It means so much more coming from the kids. It's just next level, and thank you. I don't even have words. Thank you so much.
Good evening and welcome to our DLS Spotlight, which is really highlighting a lot of work that has been happening across the district. With me tonight, I have a few co-presenters that I think would really like to introduce themselves on the microphones. So I'm Mrs. Morley, the principal here at Diamond Lake School.
I'm Teresa. I'm Marco.
I'm Miss Budzik.
I'm Aria.
I'm Akshaja.
Mrs. Johnson.
Allie. I'm Carlos Aranda. I'm Jace.
Miss Duco?
Ava.
One of our big focuses this school year has been professional learning communities at work, professional learning communities, also known as PLCs. You may have already heard about our PBIS and our presence goals, but this time you get to hear about all the work that we've continued to do. So we've continued to grow this year with our PLC work. Over the past few years, we've made a strong effort to protect time for teachers to meet, collaborate, and focus on improving both teaching and student learning. I have a team here to share a snapshot of the work from the past year. While the examples we highlight may come directly from Diamond Lake School, they reflect the kind of work happening across the entire school district. We've been intentional about building this work step by step. This year, we partnered with the Marzano Group during this time to help guide our teacher teams in strengthening how we plan for student learning and work together more effectively. At the heart of this work are 4 key questions that guide everything our teams do. What do we want students to learn? How will we know if they've learned it? What will we do if they need more support? And how will we challenge students who are already meeting our expectations? This year, we placed a strong focus on our first question, being clear and consistent about what we expect students to learn. To bring this to life, my colleagues here will share a little bit more. Ms. Budzik.
Hello. So like Ms. Morley said, PLCs are something that happen every single week across District 76. PLCs are where we as a team meet as a professional learning community, and we collaborate on what students should learn, how they should be learning it, and what to do when they don't learn it, and what to do when they do learn it as well. Each week, we break apart our priority standards. These are our must-know skills that students need to know, including things like reading comprehension or place value for our second graders. And we don't just talk about what we are teaching. We spend time designing and adjusting the proficiency scales themselves. We look at each standard and ask ourselves, what does it look like when a student has mastered this skill? And more importantly, how do we push the kids further if they're already there? This is also a time that we have started to reevaluate each of our assessments. based on the scales we created. We started looking at our old tests and realizing they don't always match up with our new scales. So we've slowly been adjusting and making sure that every question helps us see exactly what level the student is on. And it's transformed our meetings overall from what are we doing next week to how is every single student growing right now.
I'm going to talk a little bit about what is a proficiency scale. So at District 76, we want every student to know exactly where they're going. A proficiency scale acts as a roadmap. Instead of a student just knowing that they got a B, they know exactly which skills they have mastered and exactly what they need to know to reach the next level. So as you can see up there, our proficiency scales outline the vocabulary and the skills that students need to progress. And then they are broken down into 4 levels. So you'll see an example of that on the next slide. This is an example of a 2nd grade geometry proficiency scale. The goal is we actually want students to be at a level 3. And the level 3 that is up there just lists exactly what the standard says and tells the student exactly what they need to know. So in this, it's a little hard to read probably from where you're sitting, but this geometry standard says that students need to be able to identify 2D and 3D shapes based on their attributes. So some students may already come in at the start of the school year being able to do that, and they're ready for a challenge. So we might bump them up to a level 4, where they might be applying some of this knowledge to a real world situation or applying it to a situation that they haven't seen before. If we go down below that level 3 target, you can see all those check boxes, and that's where it outlines exactly what every single student needs to be able to do in order to achieve a level 3. So there's no guesswork, and even amongst the teachers, we're clear on what students need to be able to do. And then students who are scoring at a level 1 are students who might need a little bit of extra support still. Possibly if they're working on geometry, they need a word bank because they can't yet recall the vocabulary by themselves. So we're just trying to make it very clear that we know exactly what they're teaching and exactly what students need to learn.
And then one of the coolest parts about this work that we've been doing is trying to figure out how to put the scales in front of students and how they can use it like on a day-to-day basis to kind of keep track of their learning and how they're growing. And so like they get to see like a student scale that is not exactly all of the formal language that you just saw in the previous scale, but it's one that they're able to understand and kind of, like I said, they have the check boxes. So they can feel like accomplished as they're moving across each skill that they're learning to get to the next level. And it's been really exciting to see like how much they've grown with their ownership of their learning. Or even just the other day I was talking to Ava and she was saying, it's cool because I know like what I need to do next. Like I know how to get to the next level because it's really outlined, not just for us as teachers, but also for the students. And then we have a video.
So here's a video example of some of our
So are you level 2 or are you level 3?
I'm a level 2, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of my book. I added a glossary about the author, headings, question headings, and a lot of information, and 2 sentences in 1 page. And that's what I do. Hello, I'm Allie, can write an introduction, and you can write a conclusion, and you can write definitions and facts, and explain and teach somebody about your topic. My math test, I'm gonna save the greatest first. So this is my math test. I got a lot of D. I'm proud of it because I can compare 3-digit numbers and I can read and write 3-digit numbers in different ways. So this is my math test, and I can write this in Stanford, expanded word, and word form. So this is what it is.
About hedgehogs, and they're using their proficiency scale to help them identify different parts that they want to have on their poster. So they took notes from the book. They're using the proficiency scale to have like a title, headings, labels, captions, all that kind of stuff. So they're using that to like monitor and know all the things that they need to. And also to explore the book in a different way, right? Yeah, it's kind of a way to show what they know.
For my poster, I did my title is all about hedgehogs. And instead of doing prickly hedgehog, it's good to not just copy the title. And then on here gave me an idea, the title, and then I think it's also important to put headings. For this heading, it's baby hedgehogs. This one is more animals that will walk, something like that. So, yeah. I'm Leo. I'm really proud of this because I'm on level 3. I got every question right. Every question right. And now it says now I can add 3-digit numbers fully, and I got every question right. And the other side, and this side, and my favorite strategy is 10 to 1. And bye. So when we come into school, we're kids, and when we learn more, we're when we learn more, we're a tree, and when we learn even more, we can explain it out. We're an apple tree.
Oh my goodness. And in math, what are you learning?
Counting to 100.
So if I'm a seed, I'm still doing what, do you know?
You're still learning more.
You're still learning more, you're practicing. And then if you get to the plant, you can count to 50, so you're getting closer. And then if you're the tree, that means you can count to
100.
That's so cool. If you're a seed, is that okay? Why is it okay?
Because you still need to learn a little bit more.
But that's why we come to
School.
Oh my goodness. Where are you right now?
I'm a tree.
You're a tree, so you can count to And are you going to try to get to be the apple tree?
All right, boys, I have you guys here because we're talking about our proficiency scales that we just did today for math. What's it on?
It's on dividing shapes.
Can we see the paper that we have it stapled to?
Yeah, sure.
Ooh, very nice. Okay. And then what's this proficiency scale about?
So a 1 is that like you're just getting started and you need a lot of help. And a 2 is you're still learning, but you need a little bit more help than a 1. A 3 is like I can do this all by myself. And a 4 means you can tell it to a teacher, like Mr. Ant over there that's filming us.
Yeah, and 4 is kind of like our challenge too, right?
Yeah, it's a humongous challenge.
Awesome.
Like, this is a seed, this is a plant, this is a usual tree, this is an apple tree. Wait, this is an A+, you're telling me this is an A+, this is a B+, this is a C+, this is a D+.
Not really, no.
No, this isn't a plus.
Okay. And then what did you rate yourself?
A 4. Did 4.
Why?
Because we're really
So our teachers here have a proficiency scale for you to review, a student-facing proficiency scale that they're gonna come go through about PLCs. So here they come. Teachers, go find your partners. Thank you, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about proficiency skills and PLCs at our school. Good job, everyone.
Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. It was so nice to meet all of you and to hear everything that you've learned. You should be so proud of yourself for getting up here and speaking in front of all these strangers. Thank you so much. We really appreciate learning from you.
There's a whole lot of chairs over there. Eric Rogers has a tough act to follow.
I know.
It's a few extra chairs now.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
What?
I know, right?
I don't know. I feel like it might be past getting close to their bedtime. It's close to my bedtime.
I have been so tight. I don't know if it's allergies, but I
Oh,
have
the
been
allergy. It's so bad right now.
dry lately.
Let's go back to the actual meeting. Mr. Rogers, it is your time to shine. We are waiting with bated breath. Please razzle dazzle us.
Wow.
I mean,
With-
after seeing those adorable little kids, you have a lot to live up to.
No
so.
disrespect to the adorable kids. This is really why we're all here, and we're all very excited for summer project updates. Just strike that from the minutes. All right. Well, thank you guys for receiving my update about the summer project. This is a continuation of the memo that we've been updating over the last couple months. We're really just trying to update once we start getting some more actuals up to date, and we've been following this format kind of since last year. It's just kind of a running ongoing document. So really I want to give an update on 3 projects that we've been working on right now with our district architect, Wold. So the Diamond Lake Sidewalk project is underway. The bids are due in a couple days on May 12th. We're anticipating having a recommendation for approval at the May 19th board meeting. And right now we have an estimated budget of about $69,000 for this project. So we've got a lot of interested bidders. We had a pre-bid walkthrough, and this is going to be just a nice continuation and finish that project off. The other one is the cast iron sewer replacement. Similarly, we have bids due on May 12th, and we're anticipating having the lowest responsible bidder recommended for approval at the May 19th meeting. This is one we've had estimates that have kind of come all over the place, so we're just going to try to get as many bidders as we can for this project, and Wold has been soliciting a lot of different vendors. So we're pretty comfortable and confident we're going to get a good bid for that one. The other one is we refer to as the community center on this, and this is going to be at Diamond Lake School, would replace the existing garage with a community center as well as additional storage that we would have there. This one we have an estimated preliminary budget of $510,000. Now, Wold is very aggressive in terms of their budgetary estimates. They like to keep all contingencies in place. So they've pretty consistently came in at under budget, and they do a really wonderful job at making sure we solicit as many responsible bidders as we can. So this was made up a lot of different trades, so we feel pretty comfortable we're going to get a lot of bids for this one. And this is going to be done midsummer, so we have bids due on July 14th, and we're anticipating approval at the July 21st meeting, assuming we meet all our budgetary metrics. So this project would start at the end of summer and would leak in a little bit into fall, but this won't have any impact on the students' recess or outdoor playground time. The last one I wanted to notate was about the, I got 2 more. The playground improvements at West Oak Intermediate School. This proposal is would like to move the West Oak Intermediate playground to the back of the property. This would get it away from the turnaround area for busing and district cars. We're able to do this project pretty cost effective with the vendor who installed this. So this would be kind of a combination of moving the playground and also do some beautification back out there. There's really not a ton for the kids to do besides just having an asphalt space. So this would replace some of the parking, some of the basketball hoops that we have back there. We'd add some soccer goals. We would put in some benches and some like gazebo type seating for the kids to have there. So it'll function as a little bit more of an outdoor educational space as well, should they need it. But also it'll help with supervision because we'll have all the students combined in one area on the property. So once we get budgetary, we're developing budgetary estimates for that one. Once we get actuals, we'll present that to the board for approval. And we're anticipating that probably May 19th as well. And I will mention last is the future projects for consideration. Really the big project for that one is the outdoor space at West Oak campus. So there's a couple projects we're looking at concurrently with this space, consisting really of a track. There's potentially for a turf soccer field. There's some other ancillary type of activities we're looking for. So we've done some student focus groups, and it actually worked out perfect that Ms. Salzman's room was doing a argumentative essay about improving the space. So we met with those students and took a lot of notes on what they want to see, and it was overwhelming. They're looking for stuff to do. So I know this is the 5th grade class. They're kind of coming from, 6th grade class. They're coming from the world of recess and having a lot of stuff to do. And so it's really nice to hear them share their voice on. They're just looking for stuff to do besides walking around out in the space. So we have received a couple estimates for this type of project. So once we reaffirm that with our architect, we whittle down the design a little bit. We'll present some concept drawings to the board. This is going to be a project we'd hope to do in summer 2027. So just a couple quick updates, letting you know there's going to be some approvals coming at the next meeting. And wanted to see if you guys have any questions about this. Fun stuff we're looking to do, and I guess I'll just mention some of these projects are going to be funded with our life safety fund. We've got about $500,000 that have to be used for designated life safety purposes. So there's the sidewalk, there's some door replacements. A lot of that money is going to be used for that purpose, which is something we've really been looking for the last couple of years. The rest will be funded with capital project money. So, thank you.
Tax, thank you. Essentially, again, what this is us voting to put this on the ballot. So then it just gives the taxpayers the opportunity to make the decision if they would like to support this or not. So essentially, that's all we're doing. We're not voting in favor or not of the actual resolution, but just putting it on the ballot. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then this is a really long resolution for me to read. I don't know that we have to read the whole resolution. Well, maybe we do. I think we do because it says that I read it and, and that this was what it is. So, okay, so bear with me. The resolution directing the regional superintendent of schools for the county of Lake, Illinois to certify the county clerk of said county the question of imposing a retailer's occupation tax and service occupation tax to be used exclusively for school facility purposes, school resource officers, and mental health professionals for submission to the electors of said county at the general election to be held on the 3rd day of November, 2026. Whereas Section 5-1006.7 of the County Codes of the State of Illinois is amended, authorizes the imposition of a tax upon all persons engaged in business of selling tangible personal property other than personal property titled or registered with an agency of the government of the State of Illinois at the retail in the County of Lake, Illinois, on the gross receipts of sales made in the course of business, and service occupation tax upon all persons engaged in the county in the business of making sale of service, who is an incident to making those sales of service, transfer tangible personal property within the county as an incident to a sale of service at a rate of 1% to provide revenue to be used exclusively for school facility purposes, school resource officers, and mental health professionals, if a proposition for the county's school facility occupation taxes
is submitted to the electors of the county at a regular election and approved by a majority of the electors voting on the proposition. And whereas for purposes of the county school facility occupation tax, school facility purposes means 1, acquisition, development, construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, improvement, financing, architectural planning, and installation of capital facilities consisting of buildings, structures, and durable equipment, and the acquisition and improvement of real property and interest in real property required or expected to be required in connection with the capital facilities. And 2, the payment of bonds or other obligations heretofore or hereafter issued, including bonds or other obligations heretofore or hereafter issued, to refund or to continue to refund bonds or other obligations issued for school facility purposes, provided that the taxes levied to pay such bonds are abated by the amount of the taxes imposed under the county school facility occupation tax law that are used to pay such bonds. And whereas for purposes of the county school facility occupation tax law, school facility purposes also includes fire prevention, safety, energy conservation, disabled accessibility, school security, and specified repair purposes set forth under section 17-2.11 of the School Code of the State of Illinois as amended. And whereas the county school facility occupation tax law provides that upon the receipt, a resolution or resolution of school districts, boards that represent more than 50% of the student enrollment within the county, the regional superintendent of schools for the county must certify the proposition to the proper election authority in accordance with the election code of the state of Illinois as amended. And whereas the Board of Education of Diamond Lakes District 76 deems it necessary, advisable, and in the best interest of the district that the regional superintendent certify the proposition to the county clerk of the county for submission to the electors of the county at the general election to be held on the 3rd day of November 2026. Now, therefore, be it, and it is hereby resolved by the Board of Education of Diamond Lake School District 76 as follows. Section 1, Incorporation of Preambles. The board hereby finds that all recitals contained in the preambles to this resolution are full, true, and correct, and does incorporate them into this resolution by reference. Section 2, Direction to Regional Superintendent. The regional superintendent is hereby directed to certify the proposition to the county clerk in the form set forth in the county school facility occupation tax law and in accordance with the election code for submission to the electors of the county at the election. Section 3, severability. If any section, paragraph, clause, or provision of this resolution shall be held to be invalid or unenforceable by any reason, the invalidity or unenforceability of subsection, paragraph, clause, or provision shall not affect any of the remaining provisions of this resolution. Section 4, repeal. All resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith be and the same are hereby repealed, and this resolution shall be in full force and effect forthwith upon its adoption. May I have a motion to approve?
Moved. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Yes. Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Ms. Reyes? Ms. Sullivan? Yes.
Okay, so that resolution will be submitted to the regional superintendent to be included on the ballot for November 3rd, provided that 50% of the population also vote to do that. Okay, the next item on the business agenda is just the omnibus vote agenda, and that's up for review. Moving on to personnel. Be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the personnel items as depicted on the agenda. We have 1 new hire, 1 resignation, and 1 leave of absence. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Moved.
Second.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Holland? Ms. Reyes? Ms. Sullivan? Yes.
That motion is approved. Moving on to our next item up for action, that's approving the 2026-2027 Board of Education meeting dates. Does anyone have any questions about those before we proceed? Okay. Then whereas the Open Meetings Act requires each public body to give public notice of its schedule of dates, times, and places for regular meetings at the beginning of each calendar or fiscal year, therefore be it resolved the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education approves their 2026-2027 calendar, allowing for meetings to be held once a month at the Diamond Lake School District, or at the Diamond Lake School, 25807 Diamond Lake Road, Mundelein, Illinois 60060, with the exception of the following months, May 2027. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Yes. Ms. Crutchfield? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes. The next item up for action is the student meal prices. I didn't know, Mr. Rogers, if you wanted to talk about that or not.
Just an annual update that we need to do. Incremental increase. Make sure we adhere to their standards, but otherwise we're still anticipating.
Be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the 2026-2027 student meal prices as presented. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Bayless, yes. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion is approved. The next item up for action is approving the 2026-2027 district leadership team contracts. Whereas the Board of Education has reviewed the contract proposals for the district leadership team for the fiscal year 26-27 school year, be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the district leadership team contracts for fiscal year 26-27 as presented below. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion is approved. The next item up for action is approving classified staff salary raises. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the classified staff salary raises as presented. We have a motion to approve.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, the next item up for action is approving the reciprocal reporting system agreement between the Lake County Sheriff and District 76. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the reciprocal reporting system agreement between Lake County Sheriff and District 76. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Move. Second. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes?
Okay, that is also approved. The last item on the agenda is just for review. It's the appointment of the treasurer and approval of the treasurer's bond. So just so our newer board members know, in case you're not familiar, every year we essentially have to appoint Eric to be our treasurer, and then we have to approve the required bond for him. So it's just kind of routine. And we will do that at the next meeting. Fantastic. Okay. Well, and to all of our staff that's here, congratulations. We're happy that you will be returning next year. That wraps up our business agenda for the evening. Freedom of information requests, we had one that was fulfilled. Notices and communications, we have some information from CEDAW. There has not been, it's coming, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you, David, for attending that. District 76 highlights. I don't think we have any. Do we have any public comments and petitions on non-agenda items? Oh, yeah, no, we don't. Public comments and petitions on non-agenda items. Brandon, Natalie, Sunny. Nothing. Okay. Others, we have just a note reminder of the end of the year staff celebration, which is going to be at Pinstripes this year. It sounds very fun. Hopefully everyone can come. And then we will.
Can I just note one other thing?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
the 1% tax resolution, we physically have to sign that, board president and secretary while we're recorded.
Oh,
Yep, sorry. Since we're being video recorded.
Oh, yeah,
that
no
it
problem.
Actually is signed while we're.
Okay, so we'll do that before we
Yep,
move
sorry.
to executive session.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, no, you're good.
There's.
That mouthful that was in there was,
Yeah.
yes.
Good thing I'm a lawyer and I read stuff like that all the time.
Correct.
There's
One for
actually
the board
two-
president, two for you.
I think there might be 3 for you.
Oh, that doesn't happen often.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a second copy. I would assume.
Thank you.
Sure.
You just couldn't do it close.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will move to executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employer or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session, please?
Moved. Ms. Sullivan? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Yes. Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Hall? Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
I think we need a copy of our agenda from the meeting that goes with it. Yep, thank you. We get them? Just make sure. Okay, thank you.